when it's all the way to the left, you can easily spin it, right? This is what everyone wants to know about. You can easily spin it when it's really loose. Barely takes any force. But no one's gonna play with it at this level. I'm telling you, it's just unplayable. So you tighten it, you tighten it, you tighten it. Max, it's up here. And if it's at max, this thing, it's gonna really take some effort to spin it. Like, I'm rubbing my finger along it pretty roughly. It's not moving, okay? Now I was playing at about this third notch right here, and see, just rubbing my finger around the rim, nothing. Now if I start getting into the knurling, you can move it. But when you have your thumb on it normal, and you're going back and forth, you know, you're not really ever going into that crevice. So I don't think it's a problem. I don't think it's nearly the problem that people think it is. Let's see what we got here. We got the new Vader 4 Pro. Possibly some other goodies in here. Zhao Fei. Look at that. Vader 4 Pro gaming controller. This is the plastic it comes in. Now the question is, do they get in the way? Okay, switching between thumbstick and D-pad. It doesn't really get in the way. Let's pop it off and take a look at it. So, looks like the same. Okay, so I use the green one from the One Piece. Looks like it does. Now, how does it feel? Feels pretty normal. Okay, so the D-pad feels pretty much exactly the same as Vader 3 Pro. Maybe a little bit more clicky. Maybe a little bit less travel distance than the Vader 3. Alright, I've taken off the ones that go from the Vader 4, and I'm about to put on my Vader 3 thumbsticks onto that now. Okay, so I put them on. They fit good. If I were to go from AB over to joystick, I'm never getting my thumb down on that. Like, I'm just trying to imagine going from joystick to A, and even if you slip up here, you really have to try to grip it, I feel like, to spin it. But I've settled on about 3 notches, two and a half, 3 notches from max, and I feel like that's a good tension. Okay, I got the Vader 4 here and the Vader 3. So I'm testing the button differences. All right, let's see if you can hear it. They're very clicky, you know, they're great. Everyone loves the Vader 3. These are still those slightly more bassy, not as clicky buttons. I don't use these ever, so I don't care. Let's see, Vader 4 in comparison. Let's see. Very similar, very, very similar. I just feel like the Vader 3 ones might be a little bit shorter. Like, their height might be a little bit shorter than these. think these are a little bit taller, by like a millimeter or so. You can kind of tell. You guys didn't see it, but I did it off camera and I switched them on. Ah, nice. The good click we like to hear. They both work. L1 works. L2 works. Seems like everything's working. I plugged it in. And let's see. All right, it's plugged in. Vader 4 Pro. Testing out the joysticks. Let's test the circularity. Pretty atrocious. 14, 15. And as you guys probably know, with the smoothing and all that kind of stuff, that this is kind of normal. Face buttons work. L3, R3 work. Everything appears to be working good. Here's our polling rate tester. First try, we get a 1017 hertz. Okay, second test, 1067. No outliers. Pretty insane. Okay, 1065. 1067. It's all pretty good. Do another one. So here we go, a 580. This is really interesting. So I'm going to get in the Flydigi here and see what's going on. So this polled at, looks like 500 hertz for some reason or another. Okay, so I got a weird 500 there, but the rest is 1,000. I don't know what's up with that. All right, bringing up the old Flydigi space station. Looks like it reads my controller immediately. Joystick center. Let's see what this says. All right, let's check out this circle here and see how good it makes it look. Perfect. So I'm assuming this is what the other competitors were using to achieve that perfect circular gate. Was this smoothing software here. This would be the raw output, which is the rectangle. And then with the smoothing algorithm, the circle algorithm, you're going to get a perfect circle, essentially. I usually put it about 5 minutes, whatever, 15 for now. Joystick debounce. Let's see what it says. Interesting. So I might just leave that on, I guess. Now, the 8-bit, 9-bit, 10-bit. So let's see 8-bit. And I'm going to put the joystick accuracy at 8-bit. I'm going to see what type of precision we get here. So it looks like every time I move the joystick, barely, getting about a 0.00783. So the smallest value I can get on 8-bit resolution appears to be 0.00783. So 8-bit, you're looking at about 128 steps. This would be in the one hemisphere, right? So from neutral to top. So that's total of going to be 256. Let's see 9-bit here. 00392. So that's about double. You're going to be getting 255 times 2. 510, probably 512. So 12-bit should be 4,000 steps from left to right and from up to down. Let's check it out. Smallest value I can get on 12-bit. Ooh, my God, this is so sensitive. So 0.0050. 200. Sorry. Okay. 0.00050. That's the smallest increment I can see. So we do 1 divided by 0.00050. 2,000 steps. That would be from neutral to top. So you're getting about, yeah, 512 times 2 times 2 times 2. You're getting about 4096 values from the far top to the far bottom at 12-bit. People that know computer stuff probably understand this a lot better. So yeah, extremely precise resolution here. Let's test 125. It switches off and switches on when you change the polling rate. I can hear the USB sound. Test at 125 hertz. Takes forever because it's slow. 126 hertz, 250 hertz, 255 hertz. This is 500 hertz. 500 hertz polling rate. Let's try it again. Getting about 519. All right, let's change it to the good stuff, 1000 hertz. So you can hear it switch on and off. That's the USB changing, making sure the polling rate's set. Testing 1000 hertz. Got 1068. Let's test it again. 1068. Okay, slightly different numbers, but really close. 1068.907, 1068.43. Let's test it a third time. 1072. This one. So this one had a few little problems in it, but the rest of them have all been over 1000 hertz. Now for this last thing, joystick rebounds algorithm. When activating this algorithm, if you push the joystick to the edge, no reverse data will be generated when it rebounds. After switched off, rebound data will not be filtered out of the algorithm. The operation when the joystick changes directions will be smoother. If you play FPS games like Apex, it is recommended to turn off this switch. After switched off, when you yaw the joystick left and right, the movement in the game will be smoother. Okay, so let's test this. I'm actually going to change my sensitivity on my joystick to its lowest setting, so it is the easiest to move around. See how it wiggles a lot? Okay, so I'm getting a lot of bounce here. This is at the lowest tension on the joystick. Very loose. It's debouncing all the way to about 60-ish%. That's at the lowest sensitivity. I'm going to tighten it up as much as I can. See what kind of bounce we get. So we're getting, yeah, more bounce because the tension is tighter. Yeah, we're getting about 70 bounce here. Now let's see what this algorithm thing does. Okay, so this algorithm, this is at the tightest tension now. So I was getting, it was bouncing all the way up here to about 70 with this algorithm off, and with the algorithm on, it's bouncing. The worst one I saw was about here. So it's about halving, it looks like, the bounce. Let's see if that affects the polling rate at all. It does affect the polling rate. Wow, let's test that again to make sure. Okay, it was fine this time. So getting a little bit of 500, a little bit of 1000 going on. That was clean. And that's clean. This debounce thing seems pretty nice. Less ghost inputs possibly. Okay, and everything else looks about the same as normal. You see the home, you got your buttons. Let's see if you can do any macro special stuff here. So same thing as last one, just mouse buttons on these C and Z buttons. I like to set this to middle mouse click. Joystick, gyro, I don't mess with that. Trigger. Might be a little bit different here with the trigger amplitude. You guys can look over this. I'm not too interested in trigger stuff. I usually just use the clicky triggers. And we set it to steady red. And the brightness is always way too bright, so we put it down to about a 1, maybe a 2 if we're feeling really frisky. Let's buff up. So this is mainly to see if those rings around the joystick ever get actuated accidentally. I know that's the big complaint or the big worry about from people now. But I don't foresee myself accidentally really it's slipping onto there. I am using the Game Freaks, the Control Freaks, whatever they're called. Yeah, I'm moving a lot between, A and the right joystick. And haven't really touched that ring at all. Just doing a little gameplay here to test it out. I will say that the R3 button is a little bit stiffer than on the Vader 3. It's a satisfactory click, unlike on my Apex 4, which had kind of a weird R3 and L3 click to it. But this one has a nice solid click, but it's a little bit sharper than the Vader 3. Probably a preference thing that you would get used to. But yeah, L3 and R3 are a little bit clickier, a little bit harder to press, that L3 and R3. It's the only big difference I'm noticing. Everything else feels pretty standard. Like I did say earlier in the video, the heights on the buttons, a little bit higher, maybe 0.5 millimeter or so for the face buttons. But everything else feels good. There's a little bit of like textured grip, which I don't think is on. Yeah, okay, so the texturing on the Vader 3 Pro is extremely smooth relative to the Vader 4 Pro. The Vader 4 Pro has more texturing on the back plastic, which I do like more actually. Yeah, all the buttons work good. Gameplay's fine, and I'm not running into any of that stick tension ring issue. I do have it, turned up pretty far, and the more you loosen it, the more likely that you could spin it accidentally. But when it's really loose, I mean, it's unusable. The joystick is really loose. So I find about 2 or 3 notches off of max feels good for me. Yeah, I didn't really plan on opening this up, but since I ran into that microscopic issue, I figured I would open it up. So yeah, the screws don't come out, so don't be alarmed by that. Just unscrew them as far as they get and then pry it open like normal. Yeah. This right trigger had a little bit more lube, I think, in the that little hole there behind the spring. So I'm going to turn it over and show you the sticks. Okay, so it's all put back together. These top 2 screws this one and this one did end up coming out when I pried it open. So originally I unscrewed and unscrewed and unscrewed, and nothing. It just wouldn't come out. I don't have a magnetic top one, but believe me, I was smacking it. They were not coming out. But after I pried it open, I loosened them all up, and then I pried it open, and these two did come out. I put them back in now. So it's all put back together. I was gonna show the joysticks, but I gotta take out the whole board for that. But I'll just show you what these look like here. They look dustier than they are. Believe me, they're not that dusty. Here's the Apex 4 for comparison. This is the Apex 4, and this is the Vader 4 Pro. Here's the Vader 3 Pro stick. You know, you can check the internals, but well, it really looks dusty in the camera, but it's not that dusty. Everything else on the controller feels great. I fixed the one little problem, which was there was too much lube in this button. So I went in there and just got it out with a brush. Yeah, besides that, feels great. You know, it's just as good as the Apex 3, maybe better. We'll see with time. I mean, the Vader 3 with time. But yeah, I like it. I think the sticks are a lot better, and I like the new software mechanisms and functions. So yeah, that's about it.